Hello there. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for the CPE Questions Hour. My name is Jace Kirshner, and I'm an Assistant Director of Educational Programs at NASPA.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think it's afternoon in all the time zones that are represented here on the call today. So good afternoon. My name is JM Alatis. I am the training coordinator with NASPA. I'm also sort of the manager of the CPE, or the Certified Peer Educator program. It's been a pleasure being able to work with and talk to a lot of you over the past year since we have sort of launched the new version of CPE. We've gotten a number of questions throughout the year about sort of this transition and enough frequently asked questions that we wanted to have sort of a question and answer hour for you, the attendees, and you, the CPE facilitators and trainers on your campus. So that is definitely one of our intentions today and moving forward, is to be able to provide a space for folks to ask questions and make sure that we're all sort of on the same page when it comes to being able to utilize the CPE program as effectively as possible. So thank you all for taking some time out of your day, out of your week, to be able to participate with us this afternoon. So a little bit of a session outline that we have for today. We do have a few frequently asked questions that we get on a very common basis. So we do want to answer some of those that we know might come up in sort of the dialog box that you might have for the training itself. In addition, we know that there's some questions about logging in both as trainers and as students. So we're going to go through that process of how to log in if you are a trainer, how to access the course materials, and then how your students are logging in, because those are different instructions. And then we have plenty of time right at the end for folks to be able to ask questions as well. So if there are some things that you have, Jace is going to be monitoring our questions box and respond back to you, but we will definitely answer some of these questions to the entire group. So please feel free to ask questions. We'll get to that in the end, but we do want to sort of tackle some of those FAQs as well as do a demonstration about logging in as both a student and as a trainer. So to start off with the trainer FAQs, here are a few of them that we see quite often. So the first question that we have is, are my 2008 workbooks usable with CPE 2016? So the very last version of CPE had launched in 2008. It was about 8 to 9 years before we were able to launch it again. The curriculum is new enough that the workbooks are not compatible. So if you do have 2008 workbooks usable, or workbooks from that version of the course, you're not able to use them for the 2016 version. If you have a stockpile of them, if you want to be in contact with me, I will be able to sort of set you up with a way that we can sort of exchange workbooks at a discounted rate of 50% if you have excess workbooks from years past. This discount will be valid until the end of this fiscal year, so it is valid through June 30th. So if you have 2008 workbooks and you'd like to exchange them for the 2016 version, please be in contact with me and I will help get you those new workbooks. What's happening to CPE 2008? If you or if anyone on your campus is utilizing the 2008 version of the course and of the program, you will be able to use that until June 30th. Come July 1, 2017, we are turning off that program. So you have just another 4 months or so to be able to utilize the 2008 version. So please, if you're going to utilize it, use it until then. There will be no support for that afterwards. We're going to order more workbooks. If you started off the Train the Trainer program and you got a full kit with the new course purchase, you have received 10 workbooks with that purchase of the new curriculum. If you need to order more, if you have more than 10 students that you're trying to certify, you will be able to go to bacchusnetworkstore.org to order new ones, and we can make sure that that is a link that's available in the Train the Trainer or in the training materials online course in the online learning community. Are my students logging in on a different website than I am? The answer to that is yes. I'm not going to dig that deep into that question because we're going to show you how to log in to the two different websites, but yes, your students are going to be logging in at a different website than you are to get to the online learning community. We've sort of done that because we know that there are a lot of clicks and we have a lot of different steps to be able to register for the course, and we want to make it as simple as possible for your students to be able to log in and take their certifying exam after they have completed the course. How long is the student certification good for? So this is a certification that is good for life. Students should retain their login information to the online learning community. If they need to go back in and download their certificate, their membership card, or their letter of reference, they can also always contact any of us in the NASPA staff at the NASPA office if they're having some issues getting their materials, if they're trying to include it in a resume, in a cover letter, any of those pieces. And then I keep trying to reset my password, and it's not working. Help. That is not a verbatim question whatsoever that we have received from folks. We know that sometimes we're trying to reset passwords, and with NASPA's most recent database update that required everyone to create a new password and reset their password. If you are having some password issues, please contact myself. I will be able to sort of reset that for you. It is something that's easier for me to do on my end rather than clicking the reset password button multiple times on your own end. So please contact me if you're receiving any sort of a password issue, if it's not letting you log into the site. So those are just a few of those frequently asked questions that we are receiving from trainers. But as I mentioned, there are ways that there have been a number of questions about logging into the website as a trainer yourself. There are actually two ways that we can access the training materials, and we're going to show you a shortcut once we're done with this slide. So you can access it through the website olc.naspa.org or by just going to naspa.org itself. You will eventually log in and will be redirected to the online learning community. Once you're in, you'll be able to see both the Train the Trainer and the training materials, and this will be sort of your access to be able to facilitate the course. So I'm going to switch over to the website, so that way we can show you ways that you can log in. All right, here's the first website. This is just naspa.org. If you're trying to log in, there's a big button right on the page. Again, this is for trainers specifically. Click on the login button right here, and you'll be asked to enter an email and password. So for myself, this is if you're a NASPA member and you're engaging in a number of NASPA's knowledge communities or other resources that we have available. This could be an easy homepage so you can see everything that you're involved with. Once you log into naspa.org, right here at the bottom you will see View My Personal Snapshot. If you click on that, that will load your profile. So it should have your NASPA ID, your full name, your title, phone number, everything. On the left-hand side, you will see My Events. If you click on My Events, halfway down the screen, you will see My Online Events. So you can see I was registered as a member of the Train the Trainer course, as well as the CPE training materials. When you click on Go to Event, it will move you over to the online community. Definitely click Continue when you see the welcome screen. And when I log in, I can see here are the CPE training materials, starting with Module 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So this is how you will log in one way if you're trying to engage with NASPA. If you have a NASPA profile and you're trying to engage in that standard manner. Another sort of a shortcut that we have is by going to olc.naspa.org, olc.naspa.org. On the upper right hand of the screen, you'll see the login page. When you click on that, it will redirect you to enter the online learning community. Since I logged in earlier on this same web browser, this is why it's not asking me for my username and password, but you will see sort of that enter your username and password screen. Click Continue. And then this takes you to the online learning community homepage itself. And so you can see a number of the events that you're facilitating. So every event that you're teaching, I am listed as a co-instructor in all of your courses, hence why there are about 200 things that I am teaching right now. And then the courses that you are enrolled in, so the Train the Trainer, the CPE trainers, and anything else that you might be enrolled in or active with in the online learning community.
I want to jump in for just a second because I want to clarify that question about when you encounter an issue with your login, where exactly you'll see that. So the point at which you see that continue screen, It says, please click here to continue to the online learning community. If after clicking on that button, you encounter a bad password, your password is incorrect, that is the point at which you should contact JM. There is a way in which your information from our NASPA database is transferred or sent to another where the online learning community information is housed. You clicking on reset that password at that point isn't actually going to change what you need it to change, which is why we say you actually can't change your password yourself when you get there. You have to contact one of us. If you get to that page and you see that warning that says, if you are not a CPE student, please contact Jace or contact JM. One of us will get you set up with the appropriate information there for you.
Yeah, and I actually want to point out what that screen might look like for you, because that is actually sort of the redirect that you will see if you are a student. This might be the page that comes up for you. There you go, yes. So this is sort of where your students will log in. Oftentimes it will feed over some information, so if I made up my own password, you might get an error that looks like this. If this is the case, this is when you're going to want to come and talk to us.
Yeah. So clicking on forgot your password there or trying to reset your NASPA user and ID and password will not get you through the way you want it to get through. So just contact us and save yourself a lot of trouble.
Yes. All right. Thanks for that clarification, Jace. That takes us into, we just did the demonstration, that takes us into the student login. So as I mentioned, we are trying to make sure that our students have as easy of a time as possible to engage with the course and be able to log in and take their certifying examination. They are going to learn.naspa.org when they will create an account, find their campus's specific page, complete the requisite sessions, and be able to complete the program and then become certified. So we're going to actually make a login that is a fake login and get a student enrolled into a course to show you the steps that your students will go through. There is a list of screenshotted instructions in the trainer's training materials course under resources that you can provide to your students if they're trying to log in and create their own profiles. I'm also happy to send that to you via email or help any student that is encountering some issues if they're having a hard time trying to create their password. They're not going to NASPA's main website, naspa.org. That's not going to be where they need to go to register, because they are not necessarily going to be a NASPA member or someone who's going to engage with NASPA on sort of a full-time or a long-term basis. So we're trying to get them in specifically to the online learning community, and so we are bypassing a few of our steps to make it as easy as possible. So I'm going to pause 1 second, move back in to that site here. So when you type in learn.naspa.org, you will be redirected to this page. There's a nice big bold notice that if they are not CPE students, to not go any further and to contact Jace. Since your students will be CPE students, they can disregard this message. This is just sort of our catch-all, because sometimes people find this website and this web link and they try to log in and it doesn't work for them. So your students will want to go up here to log in. And there should be a button that says or sign up.
Hit login.
All right, so let's open up, don't judge me, Internet Explorer, or Microsoft Edge, is that what they call it?
It's Edge now.
Edge. There we go. So this is a screen that your students should see when you go into learn.naspa.org. They don't have an account yet, so they need to create one. So they're going to or sign up below. So our student here is going to be Charles Prescott, Esquire, or CPE if you did not figure that one out. And it's going to be Charles123 as a username, password 123. We're going to delete this profile, so don't try to log in as Charles after this session. Keep the organization as NASPA Online Learning Community. If you change this, if your students change this, they're not going to be able to find the CPE course. And then for a contact email, we can just do a test at mac.edu. If your students do put in an email address, they will get notifications that they have completed different parts of the CPE exam, as well as when they have been awarded their certificate, their membership card, and their letter of reference. And we will also have your students in a certified students group, so that way we can communicate them throughout the year for some of the different opportunities that we have, including Bacchus's spring conferences, General Assembly, the Student Advisory Committee, where we have applications to represent peer education through a national level, through a number of different means and a lot of different opportunities that we have through NASPA and for these certified peer educators. And if you're interested in any of that, please let me know. I'm happy to talk more about the opportunities that are available. So we've created a profile for Charles Prescott, Esquire, CPE. He is going to try to enter into the online learning community. This is the home page. He will go to events and catalog. Click on that. The CPE school pages is where he's going to go. So as you can see, we have about 162 campuses who are utilizing the program so far. They are relatively alphabetized. I alphabetize them myself, so if anything is unalphabetized, let me know. That could just be my inability to know the alphabet. But we have right here a template, CPE training exam for students. There is a big button here that says purchase for $3,000. Your students should not be paying $3,000. That is what your discount code is for. Everyone, when you got your new kit, which came with 10 CPE student workbooks, you should have received a code. It was on a sheet of paper in that package that told you how to register for the course. The $3,000 is on here, so that way we don't have people accidentally going in, registering for the wrong campus's course. It's sort of that wall that hopefully no one is passing. So please don't have your students give me $3,000. If they want to, I'm more than happy to take it, but I will donate it to the foundation, I swear. But other than that, your students should not be paying $3,000. But they do want to click on that button that says purchase, and over here on the right they see enter discount codes. They will want to click on that. I believe the code I made was test code. When you enter that, you can see that the unit cost is $3,000, but you get 100% discount, so it brings the price down to $0. Once the discount code is in, hit checkout, continue, and your student is registered. So when you click on this event, you will be able to begin with a CPE registration, pre-test, post-test, course evaluation, and certifying exam. All of these are required to be able to be certified, and the different sessions are locked. So until you complete the registration, you will not be able to go into the pre-test, post-test, course evaluation, or certifying exam. So I'm happy to go through any of those processes again. I'm happy to answer specific questions about logging in either as a facilitator or as a student, but we did want to kind of have that demonstration to be able to show folks how to utilize this to its fullest potential. So that is sort of the extent of what I had prepared. I want to kind of turn it over to Jace.
Yes.
If there are any questions that came in, please feel free to type in any questions in the question box itself. Happy to answer them throughout the remainder of the question hour.
Sure. So what if somebody accidentally got rid of some old CPE materials they had before they were able to get a discount for the new materials?
So that individual should definitely just send me an email. We can talk through it. I can see what I can do for you. So if you happen to recycle 2008 version CPE, let me know. Send me an email. My email is on the screen. I'm happy to talk with this on sort of a case-by-case basis.
Okay. Someone says, when should we get our books for the students? We took our course last summer and haven't received the student books yet.
Oh, well, that is a major issue. If you have not received your student workbooks, you should let me know ASAP. Please put a high importance flag on that email. We say that we are going to send out the training materials within 5 business days. So a little bit of what that process looks like is you complete the train the trainer. I get a notification of what your mailing address is. That is what part 7 of the Train the Trainer course is. I inform our materials center, who is our fulfillment house, and they mail it out. So if you have not received that, email me, jalatis@naspa.org. high importance flag. You should receive it within 2 weeks, that is for sure. We had a few issues over the holidays when campuses were closed, where packages were returned to sender. We tried to contact those specific campuses, but if you're having any issues, you need to let me know as soon as possible.
So this person says they did the in-person training. Do they need to do the online training before the materials will be sent out?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that come from Mandy? No, Shadeen. Hey, Shadeen. Yeah, so we will often do sort of in-person trainer courses, which whether it's at General Assembly or if they're sort of like locally based train the trainer. If you have done the train the trainer in person, you are good. You have access to the Train the Trainer. I enroll you in that in the online learning community in case you want to go back and go through any sort of a refresher. But you should be completely fine. And again, our material center should have sent out any of those materials within sort of that 5 business day piece coming back from whatever sort of location where I did the Train the Trainer.
Okay. So this person says this might be a confusing question, but I think Mandy, I know what you're talking about here.
Okay.
They say they teach it as a semester course, and they're wondering if there is a way to add other course assignments to the gradebook, and is there a way to have students upload their assignments to the online learning community? Yeah. So this is probably a question more for me. Yeah. As an instructor in the student exam, so you all are instructors in the student exam. You can add assignments on there. Here, let me actually see if I can Give me 1 second while I pull things up. And this was in here. Do you mind actually logging yourself in?
Actually, it might be open.
Give us 1 second while we navigate to where we need to go so we can show you this. And great questions coming in, by the way. Keep sending them in. If you forgot or you weren't here when I was doing the introduction, there's a questions box on your GoToWebinar control panel. You can click on the plus sign next to the word questions, expand that out, and then get access to the questions box. Send in your questions that way. Naturally, we're running slowly at the moment. All right. We need the Jeopardy theme music right now. Here, let's
yeah, is there a different question
we're
while
gonna come
we
back to that. Yeah, let's go to something else while we're doing this.
Okay.
So, is there any possibility of getting slides for CPE? Navigating the OLC presentation is tough. Not able to use a clicker. Add campus specifics regarding reporting responsibilities, etc.
So that is a good question. Due to sort of course fidelity and wanting to make sure that we have sort of control over that content, we don't necessarily have those specific slides downloadable. I know that a few people have asked me that question. I can show you a few tricks once we get logged in about ways you can more easily navigate through sort of the different slides in the specific modules. Jace has just been able to log in, so this might be a good way to sort of maybe tackle both of these questions in terms of adding sort of your own course content as well as ways that we can sort of navigate through the CPE specific pieces. So
so where should I?
So you can take, there's a template one.
Sorry, folks. This is called a transparent facilitator moment. All right, here we go. Okay. Okay. So as you're in here, this is the template for the Certified Peer Educator Training Exam for the students. As an instructor, you have the ability to actually add sessions to the coursebook here. So if you click on this Add button here, you can create a new session. You can title it whatever you want, new session. And then once you're inside of here, you can see you can add your own lessons. And anybody who's an instructor, as I said, is able to do this. So you can add another page. A page is just a place where you can put in text, images, video. It works like many other simple text editors that you have. It looks a little bit like WordPad if you're familiar with that. So you can add in any information you want to put in that way. As adding an assignment, you can see there's different types of assignments that you can assign to students. And really, you can go in here and play around and sort of see what feels best, and then have students upload their materials through here. So like you asked about uploading materials, there's actually a Dropbox here. So people would have to add a file from their computer in order to complete that assignment. So there's definitely ways that you can get in there and make the course content more specific to your particular institution, and especially if you're making a semester-long course, you can use this to augment what's already there in that way.
And I know that there have been a few campuses that have utilized this function, and I'm happy to sort of talk with you if this is something that you're interested in. So if there are specific slides that you want to sort of add more depth to, or if you wanted to sort of have like, hey, this was module 1, here's module 1 that is more specific for our campus, upload that specifically, and that way you have access to this. This is a pretty robust tool that we have for you to utilize for the CPE program itself. So please sort of make it your own. In terms of some of those other tips and tricks for facilitating, let me get over to, you logged in as yourself, so let's see. Are you part of CPE trainers?
I am not.
Oh, whoops. All right, well, I'm going to have to log Jace out and log myself back in. So I'm going to pause this for a second. Jace, were there any other?
Yeah, so somebody wanted us to put up that page, the separate page that the students have to log into again. So if you just want to go to learn.naspa.org and show that.
We're logged in so many different, Charles Prescott Esquire, otherwise known as CPE, is going to get logged out. All right, folks. So this is the page that your students will log in at. It's learn.naspa.org. And again, there is that sort of piece that says if you're not, if you reach it and you're not a CPE student, to talk to Jace. So if you as a facilitator ever come to this page, please let us know. But it should really just be your students that see this whenever they go to log in. I believe I was also able to log in as myself. We're going to go up to CPE trainers because I am enrolled in that. In terms of navigating through some of the different sessions, so obviously, as you know, the different modules are set up as sort of presentation style, and if you're trying to skip, if you're trying to get through some of these different modules, you want to skip around. Yes, you can advance by sort of hitting the right arrow button. That would be the way that you could sort of advance those slides, but there's also a table of contents. And you can sort of see each of the different slides, what they are titled, throughout this table of contents. So if you're like me and get embarrassed whenever you see my own video in the slide and you're like, oh, I don't want to show them me, I can welcome them myself, I might skip that. I might go from this What is the Box initiatives, skip the welcome from CPE to NASPA, and then move into Module 1. You can also sort of search throughout these modules if you know what slide you are looking for. And you can sort of navigate through each of those slides. Because yes, I know that you would like to be able to download those specific slides, but that is not a functionality that we have available. But this is one way that you can sort of navigate as you go through the course specifically.
Okay, so I'm trying to look at some that are addressing what we're looking at now.
Yeah.
So there is person who was asking about this before, Mandy, asked again.
Yeah.
That was super helpful. Yes, thank you. Yay!
Yay!
Will the materials that we upload for the course this semester stay in our dashboard gradebook each term, or will we need to re-add or upload them each time we teach the course? So if you are, my understanding is that you're going to keep the same course, like you're going to remain that same, have that same module, and just be bringing in new students to it. So you would retain the same module, and the students would go into it, the new students would go in, you'd be able to track their progress and see what they've been up to inside of that. So I don't know that we can
We need a course page.
Yeah, that's okay. There's a way when you go to, when you look at your students, that you can actually see what they've gone through. So we're going to pull back up the template again real quick here.
I'm actually going to move to General Assembly because that one actually has students that we've done, and I facilitated that one, so it's not hopefully showing any of your own students, but here's the General Assembly 2016 one.
Right. So when you click on students here, actually, well, yeah, you can see from here
Yes.
what students have taken which pieces. But if you click on the students right here, you can actually see and go to completed. You'll see the list of students, and then you'll see these progress wheels here. When you click on this More button, you can actually look at their individual completion, and you can see based on the little icon that's on this side of the screen if they've completed it, if they've even opened it up, if they've looked at it, and it'll be a different icon to say like whether or not they've gotten to that part. So you can actually keep track of if you have students that you're adding in after you've already had some go through the process, you can go into them individually and see what their progress is like, so you don't have to remove any of your old students. You can add more in and still be able to keep track of who's working on what throughout the year.
Though, Jace, if they wanted to sort of start with a clean slate and remove them from this specific course, that should not do anything with the awards that they receive, correct? That they could still log in and see those awards?
I believe it would still be connected to the student because it's not connected to the course, but we'll do an experiment with that and make sure before we tell you to start deleting people from your courses.
Yes. So expect another update from us if if you would like to sort of clean that up for your specific semester students or quarter students or summer session, whatever you're looking for.
Okay. So if you have a student that completed the CPE training last year under the 2008 version, will they need to complete a new login for the 2016 version?
If you want to have the student go through the course again, then yes, they will need to create this new login because the 2008 version of CPE is a whole different website. It's hosted by someone else. We don't have as much control over a lot of that information. When it's here in this sort of CPE train the trainer course and through this, we're able to sort of have this active list of who is trained, who's received this this on-site facilitation, who has gone through the program. So if you would like this student to go through the course again, yes, they will need to create a new login with this specific website, mainly because these are two different websites that we were utilizing from 2008 and versus now in 2016. I guess now it's technically 2017.
Yes, there you go. So we're going to have a new employee this year. They will need to complete the Train the Trainer course. How much is it now?
Okay. So currently we are still sort of offering, if you'd like to add a new trainer, an additional trainer, you can do that at sort of a nominal add-on rate. Please feel free to talk to me. This is based upon your NASPA institutional member status. So varying between $95, $145. We also offer Train the Trainer at the Bacchus Initiatives NASPA General Assembly, as well as a few other sort of on-site and in-person facilitated trainings throughout the year.
Okay. For the certifying exam, is the exam the same for each student, or are there different versions?
So the exam is technically the same for each student, but I do want to show you a little bit of that functionality as we go into the exam here. It is the same for each person, however, the questions are randomized. In addition to the questions being randomized, the answers are randomized. So this is a way to sort of prevent individuals from being able to cheat. It was just sort of an integrity management piece that we were able to both randomize answers and the questions themselves. If you're
So they're all getting the same questions, they're just in a random order.
Yes, same questions, random order at some point in time. If you all, I know we've had a few questions in the past about, can we see the exam? We want to come up with a study guide. We want to be able to prepare students as well as possible. When you go into your specific CPE course, so again here on General Assembly 2016, let me go back to the homepage just so I can show you how to navigate. So when you see this as sort of CPE, if you go into assignments on the left-hand side, you'll see this sort of CPE certification exam. From here, when you move to questions, there's a button here that says print. It will allow you to open up a print screen of the specific questions in that sort of randomized order if you are looking to create sort of a study guide for your students, or if you'd like to know what your students are going to be quizzed on before they take the exam.
Okay. Can we as instructors print the student certificates of completion, or is that available only for the students to print?
So it is, you can see what students have received certificates. You can, through sort of the completion and the gradebook piece, If you would like specific certificates printed for your students, let me know and I can get them to you in sort of a single document so that way you can print them all at once.
Okay. Is it correct that the students are using their workbooks or the training as the presenter is using the online program?
Can you read that question again, Jace?
So yeah, sure.
Sorry.
It says, is it correct that the students are using their workbooks for the training as the presenter is using the online program?
Yes, the way that we have designed the workbooks for 2016's version of CPE is that you should really be able to follow along. We've added a lot of beef and a lot of more additional content so that this can be used not only during the training, but can also be used throughout the year. So when we do things such as the program planning worksheet or the plan of action activities, sometimes known as sort of response in the response and referral pages, we have blank versions of that in the back of the workbook so that your students can refer back to that and utilize those worksheets throughout the year. So yes, you should be facilitating the training and the workbook should follow as well as possible with those specific slides. We are aware of, especially in Module 7, there's about 2 pages that are flipped. We are looking at sort of our next print of the workbooks and our next update to be able to completely align everything for folks. But yes, everything that is on the slides should relate, for the most part, to the workbook itself. And your students should be following along. It should be their resource as they go throughout the course.
So yes, and somebody else has asked a similar question about the printing. And yeah, I'm not entirely sure that you can print it for them because I believe it's associated with their individual account, their certificate. And because you don't have access to their account, because you're not a system administrator, only administrators like JM and I can actually get into an individual's account, you would not be able to print it for them, unfortunately. And we recognize not everybody has access to a printer, but as JM said, if you need copies of them, please reach out to him. He will be able to get the copies of the certificates to you.
Right. But you can always see in the certifying exam, in the grade book specifically, how your students did. And since only one part of the test is graded, you can see if they passed and what they percent passed with.
So there you go. Okay. So are there any, hopefully, let's see, we've got about we have another 20 minutes allotted,
okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? So I'm going to give you a couple more minutes here to get some more questions in if any others are coming to you. We do have some other people who are asking questions about the PowerPoints being editable. And again, as GM said before, there's an issue about fidelity in the presentation materials and wanting to keep them standardized. So therefore, it is not in an editable format right now. If you have specific concerns about that, please reach out to JM and he can talk you through some more specific things with your campus. If there's something in particular you'd like to do, we can work with you on that potentially, or we can just talk through whatever issues are going on.
Yeah. So yes, again, unfortunately, you're not able to sort of edit the specific slides.
Somebody asked what a SCORM is in relation to one of the options for the assignments that you can put into the sessions there.
It's all you, Jace.
Jam is deferring to me. And a SCORM I'm looking to our third person who's just entered the room right now, who is also shaking his head. The SCORM it's a special kind of assignment that I actually haven't done all that much work with. I used to know what the acronym stood for, and it's a specific thing to learning management systems, and we're actually Googling it right now, which you can see us doing on our screen.
Oh, I thought I paused it. Oh, I thought I paused it.
We're giving up. We're giving up.
Shareable content object reference model.
There you go.
Shareable content object reference model.
Yeah.
That really sound like the assignment we want to get 4%.
Yeah. So I'm going to say stay away from that because we're not going to be able to help you do that, and we'll leave it at that for that one. Okay. So moving on as we go here. So do trainers see the same? Do trainers on the same campus see the same gradebook and dashboard, or do we have individual views?
So when you have additional trainers on campus, you are all listed sort of as co-instructors of the same course. However, I've received a few inquiries and a few questions from folks of like, hi, I'm a Title IX coordinator, and hi, I'm a faculty, 2 different individuals. I have a class, I have a training this weekend, can we have separate courses? And I'm able to sort of create a separate course. It's all about making sure that your students access the correct course and making sure that they use the correct discount code. I know sometimes we also get issues with like, which University of Missouri is this? Is this University of Missouri St. Louis? Is it just Mizzou in general? So if you need a specific course homepage created, that is something as an administrator I am able to do for you.
So somebody's asking a question about making the sessions more interactive, to kind of liven them up a little bit, like get people interested a little bit more. Do you have any activity ideas that weren't in the materials?
See, and a lot of this kind of comes down to, I think about sort of my own sort of facilitation style of how we go through the course. I am a big fan of pacing, not pacing in terms of like flow of the presentation, but like pacing around the room. I get people to sort of engage with me and follow me as I'm walking around the room, and quite honestly, it gets me up really close, if not well over my 10,000 steps a day. So a little bit of ulterior motives, a little bit of wellness thrown in there. So in terms of ways that I sort of engage the class is being able to sort of walk around the room. I'm also a big fan of sort of breaking up each of sort of the different activities that we have in there in sort of a think, pair, share moment. So if you think about in Module 2, when we ask students to sort of trace their change through the stages of change model, being able to sit silently and quietly and reflect on a change that they've made in their life. Sharing in small groups, that's why we break folks up into groups. And then once they've shared in their small groups, asking for 1 or 2 volunteers to share in front of the larger audience. So I'm a big sort of proponent of that sort of think, pair, share model, and ways to just sort of adapt that. You're going to know your students best. And especially if you've worked with them before or if you're building more of a long-term relationship. I'm also a fan of after modules doing some sort of an icebreaker. If I can tell that students are starting to fade, like if it's 8 o'clock at night and it's a Friday and they've been in class all week, like I can sort of play the room, I can feel the room, and it's like, how am I going to engage folks? Whenever I do breaks, another thing that I do is I have Spotify, I pull up Spotify, and instead of saying, hey, we're going to do a 10-minute break now, I say we're going to do a 2-song break. Pull up a Throwback Thursday playlist, and that way that kind of fills some of that silence in the air when you're doing breaks, and it kind of keeps people engaged. People are like, oh, I haven't heard this song in so long. Those are just some ways that I utilize to be able to get folks to engage, or at least be excited as we're going throughout the course. Because yes, I will completely admit it, 12 hours, or if you're doing it over a semester, or if you're doing every single activity, between 12 and 16 hours can be a very daunting amount of time. So a lot of it is about knowing your own audience and what they're going to find most appreciative, but then being able to adapt to that as you see fit.
Okay. So I don't have any other questions that have come in. We have no problem with wrapping early if nothing else, if there's nothing else burning on your minds today. You know that JM is accessible by email if you have any questions after the fact that you want to reach out to him. He is your best resource, because as much as, I get reached out to quite frequently if you end up with some sort of password problem or something else like that, what I cannot do for you, and this is Jay speaking, I don't have as much background understanding of the course itself and the materials therein. I also can't get you access to those course materials if you don't already have it, because that is JM's responsibility to make sure you're in there, and he knows what checks you've had to fill out or what things you've had to do, what checkboxes you had to do in order to get into those. So I won't be able to get you into there, but I can help you with your password if you're trouble with that. Otherwise, JM should really be the primary person that you're reaching out to with any concerns you have regarding CPE. All right.
There have been some great questions today. I want to again say thank you so much for everyone for engaging with us, sending in some questions. This is something that I would like to continue doing, these sort of question hours every few months. So please feel free to reach out with me with some questions. And I think we're looking at maybe doing something in the middle of this summer as folks are gearing up for students to come back. But if there are any questions in the interim, please definitely feel free to reach out to me. Did anything come in?
Nope, we had a thank you come in, so thank you for the thank you.
Thank you for the thank you.
But that's going to wrap it for today. So I hope all of you have a great afternoon or evening, depending where you are. Take care. Thanks, everyone. Bye.